Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. So we're from group 3 that consists of Natalinus Emmanuel, Sharifa Fauzia, and Afiza Liati, and we would like to discuss about reference and the axis. So let's start our video today. Enjoy and thank you.
The definitions of reference. Reference is the act of speaker or writer using linguistic words to help a listener or reader to identify something. In other words, reference is concerned with linguistically labeling entities in the world. According to Matthew, a reference is a link between two parts of a sentence. It is also designated an individual or a group of individuals. There are several types of reference. The first is unique and non-unique reference. If a reference referring word has stable reference, it has a unique entity or group of entities. Thus, unique entities such as the Rocky Mountains, the Louvre, the Pacific Ocean, and Germany signify distinct entities that can only be found in a specific location. And knowledge of them is considered common knowledge. If a reference referring expression has changeable reference, however, it may have a non-unique entity. That woman, my brother, and a mountain are still not unique since they change every time they are utilized. And knowing of them is a subject of specific knowledge. This physical and linguistic surrounding aids speaker in recognizing those entities. The second is concrete and abstract reference. Concrete and concrete reference are concrete or tangible objects like books, lamps, trees, and bricks, whereas abstract reference are abstract or ethereal entities like beauty, democracy, knowledge, and philosophy. It's worth nothing that lexemes with varying degrees of denotation tend to appear in a variety of utterance and can have varying impact on other lexemes. Thus, the lexeme key has a literal reference in the sentence "the key toward the front door," and an abstract reference in the phrase "key to success," which has figurative meaning. The third is countable and non-countable reference. It is the property of noun phrase that merits the notions countable and non-countable, both of which can be concrete and abstract. Concrete countable expressions are those that are distinct from one another and can be numbered one at a time. Countable expressions are pencils, backpacks, seats, and watches are examples of this. Problems, experience, and suggestions are examples of abstract countable nouns. Countable noun phrases differ from non-countable noun phrases in where the former recognizes the distinction among singular and plural forms, whereas the latter do not. Thus, we can say one apple, a hat, and an umbrella, with the overt specifier present before the single nouns, and some apple, hats, umbrellas, apple, applesauce, mud, and ink, with the zero specifier present before each plural, countable and non-countable noun.
Next is the types of reference. The discussion of reference has become a central concern in semantics, and the classification of different types of the ways of referring is relatively uncontroversial and remains undisputed among semanticists. Lyons, 1977, and friends agree on the following classification of referent types. The first one is generic and non-generic reference. The second one is definite and indefinite reference. And the last one is specific and non-specific reference. Generic and non-generic reference. The meaning of the notion generic can be understood by observing the following. First, the cat is a nice pet. A cat is a nice pet. Cats are nice pets. A cat is lying on the mattress. Cats are lying on the mattress. Each of these phrases can be used to claim a generic proposition or one that says something about the class of cats as a whole, rather than a specific group or individual cat. In other words, in the above statement, the entity cat referred to a group of referents. The fact that the cat in the preceding word has general meaning can be proven by asking which cats. Clearly, none of the preceding Sentences are response to such a question because the question is irrelevant. The sentences number 1, 2, and 3 below conflict with sentences 4 and 5. Definite and indefinite reference. In grammar, an article is a word that gives information about a noun or a noun phrase. There are only 3 major articles in English language, and they can be categorized into 2 different types: definite articles and indefinite articles. The main difference between definite and indefinite articles is that definite articles are used to indicate something specific, whereas indefinite articles are used to indicate something non-specific. For example of definite articles: where's the book I gave you last week? He or she is looking for a specific book, not any book. Example of indefinite article: give me a tissue. I don't need a specific tissue, any tissue will do. The third one is specific and non-specific reference. It's important to understand the discourse than the reference expression first in order to determine if a reference has a specific or non-specific reference. The specificity or non-specificity of a reference is determined by the discourse. Take a look at the following sentence. Every evening at 6 o'clock a
Hello everyone. So in this part we would like to discuss about Deixis. So what is Deixis? The concept of Deixis has emerged as one of the most critical issues that need our attention. Deixis is a semantics concept derived from a Greek term that means pointing or indicating through language. A deictic expression is any verbal form that is employed to accomplish this pointing. The adjective deictic or deictikos has a demonstrative meaning. We use a deictic term or that to signify something in the current context when we discover a word object and inquire, like, what's that? Deictic expressions are also known as indexical expressions. On this part, we would like to discuss about types of Deixis. So there are some types of Deixis. The first one is person Deixis. Person Deixis basically operates on the three-part divisions, exemplified by the pronouns for the first person or speaker like I. The next one is second person or the addressee like you, and the third person or the other participants like he, she, and it. Example: you can never tell that secret to them. You is the second or the addressee, and them is the third person or the others participants. The next one is social Deixis. So social Deixis is reference to the social characteristics of or distinctions between the participants or the reference in a speech event, such as good morning, mom. So mom here is the example of the social Deixis. The next one is spatial Deixis. Spatial Deixis or place Deixis concerns itself with the spatial location relevant to an utterance. Similarly to personal Deixis, the locations may be either those of the speaker, an addressee, or those of persons or objects being referred to. Example: I enjoy living in this new neighborhood. Next one is she was sitting right there. So right there is the spatial Deixis or place Deixis, and new neighborhood is the example of the spatial Deixis or place Deixis too. The next one is temporal Deixis. So it is like time Deixis concerns itself with the various times involved in and referred to in an utterance. This includes time adverbs like now, then, and soon, as well as different verbal tenses, such as it is raining now, but I hope when you read this it will be sunny. Next one is he had gone. So had gone here is represent the time, and now on the previous example is represent the time too. Next one is discourse Deixis. So discourse Deixis, also referred to as text Deixis, refers to the use of expressions within an utterance to refer to parts of the discourse that contain the utterance, including the utterance itself. Example, this is a great story. This here refers to an upcoming portion of discourse. So this is the end of our video today. I hope you guys are I hope you guys find and put all attention to this video. And if you guys have any question, you can put it on the discussion forum. So we will check it later. Well, see you on the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.